is adopted.
Next on What's New, more help is on the way. A massive $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill now heads to President Biden's desk. What's in the bill, plus who will get another stimulus check and when. Your new job. After being laid off, one woman couldn't find anything that didn't come with a serious pay cut. Who she turned to for help getting the salary she deserved and her advice to other job seekers.
Luck of the Irish is back. After canceling St. Patrick's Day last year, Cleveland is preparing to roll out the green carpet this year, where you can safely enjoy the festivities.
They have been there, they've been through it, and that they tipped her a $2021 tip.
The story behind the customers who bonded with their waitress at Slyman's Tavern, hoping this 2021 helps her have a happier 2021. What's New starts right now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And we begin this Wednesday edition of What's New with sad breaking news from the sports world. In fact, into the 3 newsroom within the last half hour. Legendary, longtime Cleveland broadcaster and the voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers for 4 decades, Joe Tate, has passed away. He was 83 years old. Joe's daughter, Karen, confirming the news on a Facebook post a short time ago. Tate was battling cancer and kidney failure. Jim Donovan, voice of the Browns, will have his thoughts on Joe's passing coming up at 6 o'clock. Sad news indeed. And on that note, we welcome you to another edition of What's New. Beautiful weather outside. Betsy, another terrific day. Skies were clear and sunny. Temperatures in the 60s. Just a gorgeous day. I hope you had a chance to enjoy some of it outside. Along with Betsy Kling, I'm Jay Crawford. Thanks for choosing us.
I think we even hit 70 degrees in a few places today. It was
That's
certainly
amazing.
nice. Saw folks in shorts. My girls were outside in all kinds of, not winter clothing. So certainly it was a beautiful afternoon. We'll get an update on where the forecast goes from here from Matt Wins in just a few minutes.
All right, very good. We begin with good news for many Americans. Another stimulus check will be on the way soon. This after the House passed the final version of the $1.9 trillion COVID relief package, despite the fact that all Republicans and 1 Democrat voted against the measure.
The yeas are 220, the nays are 211. The motion is adopted.
Pelosi went on to announce that tomorrow marks 1 year since the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a global pandemic. The bill now heads to President Joe Biden's desk to be signed into law. That is expected to happen on Friday. Although more money is on the way, who is eligible and the amounts you may get will be different from the first 2 rounds of government help. Brandon Simmons breaks down the details of who gets stimulus checks and changes to the child tax credit.
This is the moment many people have been waiting for. Congress finally approving the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan and sending it over to President Joe Biden to sign off. Now, in the new plan, not as many people will receive checks because income thresholds have been reduced. Individuals making up to $75,000 and couples making up to $150,000 a year will get a $1,400 check for themselves and their dependents. Anyone making more than that will get partial checks, but the cutoff is quick. That means no money for individuals who make over $80,000 and couples who make over $160,000. And changes are also coming to child tax credits, which would provide monthly payments to parents in need. $300 each for kids 5 and under, $250 for kids ages 6 to 17. Now, the credit is more than in years past, and the payout structure is completely new.
Instead of having to wait an entire year to get that credit via a refund, you now start to have that benefit on a monthly basis.
Now, the American Rescue Plan also extends unemployment benefits until September 6th, continuing the $300 weekly payments for those who are out of work. Now, the big question is, when will we see those stimulus checks? Democrats have said they want to get them out before the end of March, which will likely happen. And as far as child tax credit payments, those wouldn't start until around July or possibly a little later. I'm Brandon Simmons, 3 News.
Thank you, Brandon. And also coming out of Washington, D.C. today, it's official. Ohio Representative Marcia Fudge will be the new Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. She'll be the second black woman to lead the department and the first in decades. As the head of the housing agency, Fudge will inherit the challenges of America's housing crisis that have been worsened by the pandemic. Vice President Kamala Harris is scheduled to swear Fudge in during a virtual ceremony this evening.
Betsy, we have an update now on the Solon High School principal who was put on administrative leave while the school district and police investigated allegations of inappropriate conduct with a student. The Solon Police Department confirmed today there will be no criminal charges against Aaron Short. Short was put on leave after an email was sent anonymously to school officials alleging she had a relationship with a student years ago. The Solon School District issued a statement late this afternoon that indicated they are still waiting for the final results of the police investigation and, quote, once we receive this information, we will have further details on when we will welcome Aaron Short back to her duties as principal.
Well, turning now to downtown Cleveland, where the massive Westin Hotel, that's where the Urban Farmer is, that's in danger of closing its doors as soon as next week. It has nearly 500 hotel rooms and could be foreclosed upon within days. Officials say it was having financial trouble before the pandemic, and the last year has definitely not helped matters. While many other hotels are also struggling, we reached out to Destination Cleveland today to see if the outlook is any brighter as more people get vaccinated and become more comfortable with the idea of traveling. Spokesperson Emily Lauer is putting a positive spin on the situation, saying if tourists come, downtown Cleveland is ready.
If it is an unfortunate closing, that we have 17 other downtown hotels that it would be great for family and friends to stay in if they want to stay in the center city. And beyond that, we have more than 20,000 hotel rooms in the regions.
I got to tell you, if you stay downtown Cleveland, it's a pretty sweet staycation opportunity. Kind of mix things up a little bit. Well, Lauer also says to keep in mind, we have seen new businesses and restaurants opening during the pandemic, so things are starting to look up for 2021. And along those lines, the governor's office just announced that Ohio will no longer be issuing those weekly travel advisories telling Ohioans when they have to quarantine after traveling. That's likely because positivity numbers are falling across the country. Jay.
Well, despite a year-long global pandemic, Americans continue to spend money. But what we're spending it on has changed. A new survey out by thebalance.com says more than half Americans made a comfort purchase in the past year, but not the type of comfort you may be thinking of.
9 out of 10 people said that fresh food makes them happy. Many of the grocery stores were running out of some of their fresh food, and then the consumers had to look at were there alternatives that they were acceptable to have.
The survey also shows that 20% of people who responded say they want to splurge on clothes and shoes. Sounds like Big Sue, Bets, your mom. Americans just seem eager to go out and get away after nearly a year at home. And Betsy, it appears some people are also giving back when they do go out. This is a great story. At least that's what happened at one popular restaurant here in Northeast Ohio earlier this week.
Let's go live now to January Keaton with all of the kind details. And January, we just love to hear these stories.
We absolutely do, Betsy. It likely started out as just another busy day at Slyman's Tavern in Independence. I know I am a Slyman's lover, y'all. I couldn't wait to get back here for the Slymans. Except this particular lunch rush came with quite the surprise for one waitress. Listen, Tanya didn't want to go on camera, but we do know she is $2,000 richer, y'all, thanks to a couple of widows she had the fortune of serving. The two women, they came in during lunch, they ordered a bunch of food for dine-in, and then they ordered a bunch of food for take-home. Well, when Tanya asked them why so much food, they told her they lost their husbands and they don't cook as often anymore. Well, Tanya also lost her husband in April 2020 and hadn't cooked in a while either. So the women felt an instant connection to Tanya and decided to give her a little extra gratuity.
They told Tanya that they wanted to take care of her. They told her that, everything was going to be okay. And they tipped her a $2,021 tip. When she saw it, she was absolutely shocked. Her initial reaction was, I can't accept this.
Mine would have been, I will accept this. Thank you, please. Anyway, the women insisted they were feeling a kind of a bond with Tanya, and their bill of just over $100, it became $2,121.21. That's 21, 21, 21. Hopefully it's a sign that this year will be a bit brighter for Tanya.
What an amazing story. And just, you know, it's so funny the connection that you can make in just circumstance, you know? That little conversation
We've
just
all
led
been
to
there.
so many things.
We've all
yeah,
been
definitely.
there.
It's like your first day when you were here and you're just like, after 40, you can have a baby. I was like, January, you're speaking my language. I'm in this with you.
That's
definitely. Right. All right. Well, thank you so much, January.
Well, now we have an update to a story we told you about on Monday here on What's New. You may remember Cleveland Browns wide receiver Ryan Switzer's 9-month-old son was in the hospital over the weekend. In fact, he had 3 blood transfusions because of low hemoglobin. Also, he had surgery. Well, today we learned his son Christian has been discharged from the hospital. Ryan tweeting today this sweet video of him playing. Switzer says there's still no clear answers as to why Christian was bleeding, but he did confirm his son did have COVID-19. He is thanking everyone for all of their prayers. And I've never met Ryan. Obviously, I have a bond because I love the Browns and I root for the Browns, but some of those prayers came from right here at this desk. And it's nice to see. I saw his tweet on Twitter and it had, I can't remember, it was over 10,000 likes. So many people saw that post and responded in kind with prayers of their own. Power of prayer. Now he's home and feeling better.
See that little man there with that big smile on his face and his little roly-poly rolls. Oh, my gosh.
Priceless.
Awesome.
And we're glad that he's feeling better. Next on What's New, our Your New Job series continues. Danielle Serino explains how you can be successful even if you don't have that super impressive resume.
Plus, support for Meghan Markle continues to roll in. Hear what Queen Bee wants her to know following that bombshell interview this week.
And Matt Wentz, the calendar tells us 10 days until spring, but I got to tell you, it felt like it was already here today. Wow.
Yeah, wow is right, Jay Crawford. You can smell the neighborhood barbecues going here this evening across Northeast Ohio. So we've been looking forward to this air mass. It is here. Let's enjoy it. But we'll talk changes over the next couple days ahead. But we'll leave you with a CSU look at that sky cam. Boy, the camera's been rocking with some of these wind gusts. We'll cover it all in the next 7 days when we come back.
We will see you in just a few minutes. Right now, there's nothing like a good meal at Fat Cats. It's located in Tremont, and that is our Save Our Sauce feature today. Whether brunch or dinner, you'll have a great meal. The restaurant sits atop the unfinished towpath trail. But when it's complete, Fat Cats plans to have a full walk-up menu with outdoor seating to enjoy a meal after a very long walk. Check out this restaurant and more from our Doug Tratner. You can find it all at WKYC.com/SaveOurSauce. Welcome back to What's New. As part of our series, Your New Job, we've been meeting people out of work, oftentimes for up to a year or more. But as consumer investigator Danielle Serino learned, it's not about sending resumes and hoping something sticks.
She spoke with a life coach and career coach who says to be successful, you need to be in the right frame of mind, or you may be wasting your time.
September should have been the happiest time for Hannah Miller, but 2 months before her big day, she was laid off from her sales job because of COVID.
I've gotten a couple of interviews and a couple of offers, but offers that were much, much lower than what I was making before, so decided to keep looking for the right fit.
After nearly a year of resumes and interviews, though, she gave in, willing to take a 25% pay cut.
You are definitely looking too low for what you want to do career-wise.
Jim Blackburn is a professional development counselor who agreed to advise Hannah. He says to succeed after losing a job, you need to face the loss head-on.
One of the things that I'm experiencing with the people that I work with is they are not aware of the significant emotional loss that occurs when there's change. And without grieving the loss, you will struggle, both with your personal life as well as your professional life.
Next step, create a resume that reflects who you are, not just what you've done. Jim's seen the results.
And I say to the hiring authority, if I show up with a candidate who's resourceful and problem solving, resilient, reliable, would you hire that person? Oh, by the way, they have no experience in your industry. You know what that employer says to me? Absolutely.
So highlight what makes you unique. Hannah taught English overseas, was a leader in a national service fraternity, on the board of the Stowe Symphony. The list goes on, but none of that's on her resume.
I was told the resume was too long and no one cares about those things, so I took them out and kind of made it more black and white.
Well, what they've done is they've hurt your ability to indicate who you are and what your interests are.
It's why you need to know your worth and sell it.
You have to believe that you have so much to offer that the interviewer who turns away from you and turns you down loses.
With that mindset, Jim says you'll be positioned for a career, not just a job.
There are companies out there that are looking for people who have your unique abilities. They need you.
To prove his point, Jim has offered to work with 5 job seekers for free. You just have to agree to follow his recommendations and allow us to follow your journey. Send your resume and a letter on why you should be picked to me, the email on your screen, so Jim can review them. I'm Danielle Serino, 3 News.
Thank you so much, Danielle. Boy, you know, I think a lot of folks today have just been really happy with the weather and how it felt outside. Today we actually got a little taste. Now, it actually felt warm when you were outside. That was nice.
Did you say 70s, Bets?
70.
Wow. I knew it was in the 60s. I looked at the thermometer several times during the day. It was in the 60s. I thought, this is just beautiful. You can't ask for anything better than that. And Matt, it had me feeling lucky, which is your weather word today.
Oh, there you go. Jay, you said you can't ask for anything better. I think 75 would have been great, but, you know, we got to pick and choose.
Hey.
You can't really pick and choose around here this time of year.
Yeah, I don't want to be too choosy. I don't want to be, you know the saying, beggars can't be choosy.
That's right. It was a little chilly this morning. I could have used a jacket. No, I'm just kidding. It's totally fine. Yeah, we'll fit that in, Jay. I know a lot of people meeting the neighbors for the first time in, a year and a half or however long it's been. Everyone's out and about, and it's going to be a great evening to do so. We are tracking a little bit of rain off towards the west. I think most of that will dry up, as you'll see here in a second. Here's the numbers, folks. These are our weather sensors. We've got 70s up the I-77 corridor, 60s everyone else. We had a couple spots hit 70 degrees, as Betsy mentioned today. It's all about that wind. We did see some sun, but it was filtered sunshine. But that wind is bringing the air from all the way down south northward. And we've got gusts that have been over 30 at times, pretty gusty. It's going to remain windy tonight. Tomorrow's going to be windy as well as the system really starts to ramp up. And your gusts tonight upwards of 30, so we'll call that breezy to windy, but you can see towards morning we start to increase those gust speeds, and tomorrow's going to be a little bit windier than today is. In terms of the clouds, yeah, they've been increasing out of the west. Should be a filtered sunshine kind of sunset. You can see some of the showers off the radar there off towards the west. We've got very dry air in place still, so a lot of that will evaporate. If you look at the big picture, though, it kind of looks like the cold front would be somewhere in here, right? So is that the end to our warmth? It's not. As we overlay the temperatures on there, you can see the warm air extends all the way back into Iowa, and what a change. Des Moines is in the 70s right now. Meanwhile, a couple miles to the west, they've got a snowstorm, 3 to 6 inches expected there. Those changes are slowly going to work our way as this cold front kind of waffles its way. It'll kind of wobble its way in our direction. It's really not until tomorrow night that we start to change this atmosphere around. So one more warm day tomorrow, and then we're talking temperatures near average, which is right about 44 this time of year. And I think Friday's not going to be a bad day, as you'll see here in a second. National Design Mart Hour by our forecast. We're mainly dry tonight. Can't rule out a shower in western areas and won't last long. Look at temperatures at midnight, still near 60. This is a windows open kind of night. We do have some scattered showers that will work in well in advance of that front tomorrow morning. So we will have some rain around perhaps early in the day. But by afternoon, we're dealing with a pretty decent line of some showers and maybe even some thunderstorms that'll move in here as we go through Thursday afternoon, Thursday night. Very windy day, and then that'll move out of here. And then on Friday, boy, do things change. We'll settle into cold early, but we'll rebound nicely. I think we get lots of sunshine. And if you're lucky, we'll have temperatures down into the 50s as you get away from that lakeshore. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit cooler near the lake. So cooler on Friday, but not a bad day. And then you can see our Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. That's when things kind of change as we go into the weekend. We have that gradual clearing. It will be much cooler this weekend. Then we deal with some shower chances on Monday, Tuesday. Betsy, as we talked about in the forecast, some of the models perhaps showing some of the white stuff on Monday, Tuesday, but we're just going to ignore that for now.
Yeah, we always say it, what the models giveth, the models taketh away. So we'll just kind of wait to see how it all times out. All right, thank you so much, Matt. We'll see you coming up in just a little bit. Next up for us here on What's New, who remembers these little ladies? That's right, the Powerpuff Girls. And we have details ahead on a reboot. That's coming up in your pop break.
Then, this story is worth the watch. Some skiers had quite a surprise visitor on the slopes.
Oh.
Just wanted to join them for a while. Ooh. We'll tell you how it all ended coming up.
Welcome back to What's New, everybody, on this beautiful Wednesday. Even more celebrities are coming out to support Meghan Markle following her interview with Oprah earlier this week. And what's the latest with Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson? I know you're asking. Well, Kiara Cotton has all the answers in today's Pop Break.
Khloe Kardashian is set on having a big family, but timing is everything. In a recent interview, the 36-year-old reality TV star opened up about the different methods she and boyfriend Tristan Thompson are using to help grow their family. From IVF to making embryos, the mom and entrepreneur says planning during the ongoing pandemic has been difficult.
My plan was to have kids closer in age, but now with COVID and everything, my plan's been a little delayed, but I definitely do want more kids.
While so many of us are still recovering from the bombshells dropped during Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's interview with Oprah, several celebrities have offered their support to Meghan, including Beyonce. On Tuesday, the entertainment mogul posted a message of support on her website saying, "Thank you, Meghan, for your courage and leadership. We are all strengthened and inspired by you." The message was posted alongside a photo of the two at the UK premiere of The Lion King. And this next trio is made of sugar, spice, and everything nice. The cast for the live-action Powerpuff Girls series has officially been released. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup will be played by Chloe Bennett, Dove Cameron, and Yana Perrault. The reboot follows the group as now 20-somethings who are, quote, disillusioned and resent having lost their childhoods to crime fighting. There is no word on when the reboot is set to begin production. The Powerpuff Girls first premiered back in 1998, but if you're looking for a way to relive your childhood, all 6 seasons are available to watch on Hulu. Back to you guys.
Kara, thank you very much. Time now for our Worth the Watch. Some skiers in central Romania had a surprise visitor on their outing recently. It's a bear, Bats.
That's a big bear.
It is. It almost looks computer generated because you can't think that this could possibly be real.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my gosh.
And this skier was like, okay, I'm out of here.
Nice bear.
I'm going. And the bear just wanted to take a peek, see what was going on. The skiers finally moved on their way, and the bear did as well. But can you imagine how your heart rate is kicking when you turn around and you see this coming at you? Don't lose your skis, buddy.
Right? I mean,
Don't
that's
fall.
the first thing I think of. If my luck could be on a hill with like moguls or something, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead either by the moguls or I'm dead from the bear. That
Man.
poor thing is probably just waking up. He's sauntering out there and he's like, what is going on with all these people?
Wow. Pretty scary. Pretty scary.
Goodness. All right, next up for us here on What's New, mask mandate lifted. It happened today in Texas, and we'll tell you the city that is fighting back.
Plus, preparing for St. Patrick's Day, it's only a week away. Will Ewick joins us with how operations are shaping up as we celebrate another day during this pandemic. We're back in a little more than 2 minutes.
You got me? Check 1 2 3 1 2 3. Check 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Is it a little bit staticky, Al? Well, we're near an overpass here. We were going to be out a little bit away from it, but the wind was so bad, you caught the wind noise. It was almost a pick your poison. Okay. Okay, will do.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Welcome back to What's New on this Wednesday. In case you missed it at the top of the hour, sad news today as we've learned within the last hour that legendary longtime Cleveland broadcaster and voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers for nearly 4 decades, Joe Tate, has passed away at the age of 83. Joe's daughter Karen confirming the news on Facebook a short while ago. Tate also called Indians games as well as Cleveland professional hockey games for a number of years. Tate had been battling cancer for a number of years. Our Jim Donovan will have more on this story coming up on What Matters Most at 6 o'clock. We're going to share what many Clevelanders are saying about the loss of Joe Tate. We'll do that ahead in Clicking in Cleveland. Betsy, for me, it was the voice of my youth. I used to listen to the Cavaliers games on the radio, many Indians games as well. And Joe Tate and his wham with the right hand so many times. He will be missed. I had the luxury and pleasure, really, of meeting and interviewing him a number of times. Always gracious, always kind with his time. And I was not bashful about letting him know he was one of the first play-by-play broadcasters that I ever looked up to. He was my hero for a long time.
He certainly was a lot of people's heroes, actually. And I just appreciated how he was really honest and quite blunt sometimes in the calls that he was making, especially in the years where things weren't going so well for the Cavs.
And that was a lot of the years, by the way.
Man, he was just very honest with all of them. But, you know, he named his book Joe Tate. It's been a ball. It's been a real ball. And I think all of us as his fans, we're the ones who can now say it has truly been a real ball and an honor. For sure.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for staying with us here on What's New. I'm Betsy Kling, right alongside Jay Crawford.
Yeah, you know, we've been doing this for a number of weeks now, counting down the days until spring. And now we are at 10 days and counting.
Oh, look, there we go.
Now we're together and we're on the back of the squirrel.
The squirrel will carry us to spring. I
got to tell you, that's a large squirrel.
Giddy up.
I am scared to death of that thing. But I'm not scared to death of the start of spring, which is 10 days away. I can't wait. And I hate even complaining about it after today because, wow, we hit the jackpot today.
We did. Well, it's going to start to feel a little bit more like the typical back and forth spring that we're used to in a few days. Let's get things started here at the 5:30 half hour with 3 things you need to know. 5 jurors are now seated in Derek Chauvin's murder trial, the former Minneapolis police officer charged with killing George Floyd last May. There are still unresolved questions about adding a 3rd-degree murder charge in addition to the 2 other 2nd-degree charges Chauvin is already facing. The prosecution wants to delay the trial until the state Supreme Court weighs in on that 3rd-degree charge, but the judge is allowing jury selection to continue. Opening statements are scheduled to begin at the end of the month. Also today, people in Texas, they're about to get out and about way more now, as restrictions statewide have been relaxed. Governor Greg Abbott's executive order went into effect today, where businesses can reopen at 100% capacity without wearing masks, since that state-level mandate has been lifted. Now, keep in mind, city leaders have a different say in it, as in Austin, where they are still requiring residents to wear masks despite the governor's decision. Austin's mask mandate is part of a local ordinance from December that is still in place.
And number 3 on our list of things to know this half hour, for the 2nd straight day, our new COVID cases exceeded 1,800, and that marks 2 days in a row that we've actually been over our 21-day average. And Betsy, I got to tell you, it has been a long time since that has happened, so we're certainly going to be keeping an eye on that. Big picture, that means our rolling 14-day average of new cases stays exactly the same as it was yesterday, 1,678. Also unchanged, our estimated cases per 100,000. We had been steadily dropping that number every single day, but for the 2nd straight day, it is locked at 154 cases per 100,000. Remember, the goal to lose our restrictions statewide still a ways away. We need that 154 number to be cut by more than 2/3 to get it to 50 cases of COVID-19 per 100,000.
Have some things to do on that. Well, now to our top talker And as many of you plan for your weekend, there are a lot of places that are already planning for next week because St. Patrick's Day is 1 week from today.
Yeah, St. Patty's Day, obviously huge in Ohio, especially here in Cleveland. And officials are revving up to observe it as safely as we possibly can. As Will Ewick tells us, bars and restaurants are still hoping for a big week.
This year, St. Patrick's Day will certainly look and sound a bit different without the customary parade of bagpipes. But
we are really ready to get back at it.
bars and restaurants are hoping that doesn't mean a lack of customers, Irish or not.
It won't be like our traditional St. Patrick's Day celebrations. It still will be a good time.
The brew pub at Great Lakes Brewery has been closed since January as they waited for winter and the pandemic to show signs of slowing. That sign, as it turns out,
we just opened back up, so for us that's a huge event.
Has appeared for many Cleveland businesses. Winking Lizard, Beer Market, Market Garden, and others, all just reopened this week.
With everything kind of lightening up again, or everything kind of opening back up again, I think people will be eager to get out and have a good time on St. Patty's Day.
Cleveland events are starting to plan dates as well. The Marathon has pushed their May staple back to the fall, and the Velosano is coming back from last year's virtual ride, hoping to welcome in-person bikers this September.
You know, the general ride weekend is always emotional, but I think to have everyone back together again this year and, you know, starting out on these rides, just even thinking about it now, it definitely, I have tears in my eyes just thinking about what it's going to mean to everybody come September.
All signs that life in downtown Cleveland may be starting to slowly but surely reemerge.
Just to get the store back open was kind of like bringing the family back together.
It's feeling more and more like we might have close to a normal summer. It can't come soon enough.
Sentiment shared by many around Northeast Ohio looking forward to summer. Now, as far as the Velosano crew, they are looking forward to fall, where Jay, Betsy, I spoke with them a little bit about, is this going to be a permanent change from the July date to September? They said for now it's just 1 year, but they are very anxious to hear from some of the riders and participants on whether or not it should be a permanent move to September.
Okay, now, Will, I gotta say, folks are just wanting to get out. Like, it's time for everybody to get moving and get back out there. And St. Patrick's Day, you know, last year we didn't get it, and I think we might have a lot of folks that are saving up for this year. So always remember, designated driver.
Yeah, St. Patrick's Day is definitely a sign of spring and summer to come. But you know what else is we're down here in the Tremont area, and it's the motorcycles. They keep coming by. I'm not sure if you're hearing them at all, but that's a sign that the weather's starting to give, in my opinion.
Definitely is. All right, Will, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. It's always good to have that little extra nugget. You know, speaking of green, that's a weird tie-in to this next thing, but I have a little extra nugget of information for everybody who's getting ready to get their COVID vaccine. My mom, Big Sue, she did indeed get her vaccine first shot about a week and a half ago. Everything went great. She's fine, feeling good, all that good stuff. Very, very ready for shot number 2. Very, very ready for 2 weeks after shot number 2 so she can go shopping. I'll put that out there. She may be actually shopping for some new pants, though. Let me explain. It's a little thing we didn't even think about, but you know how heavily they sanitize everything when you are in any kind of a public place? Well, one of the best sanitizers for COVID is bleach. And where she went and got her shot, well, they had just sanitized the seats, and she found out the hard way that it was with bleach wipes. Can you see? This is the back of her pants. She showed these to me. I literally said, Mom, give me those pants. So this is one of those things, like when you go to get your shot, just take a paper towel with you or a towel and make sure the seat is dry. That's all you got to do is make sure it's dry. I'm thrilled that they sanitize the seat. This is the least of our worries. A pair of pants. We can get over this. But the fact is, these are her favorite pants. She got all dressed up because it's literally the first time she's been out in a store in a long time. So she put on her best pants to go get her shot, and there we go.
Bet some would argue that that makes them more stylish.
Well, this is true. I hadn't thought of that.
You know, she's cutting edge of fashion now.
Maybe we should just do it on the front and then, you know, maybe down the legs a little bit more.
I think that's a good project for your girls.
Mom,
actually.
We could rip them up. We could totally give you distressed jeans.
Yeah, hold on there. I know what my mom would say to that idea. You paid money for those? I've heard that many times. All right, ahead on What's New, we're going to show you what makes one local activist 21 strong.
Plus, why Bridgestone in Akron is making headlines on the COVID-19 vaccination front.
Okay. Hey, yes, Northeast Ohioans are remembering iconic broadcaster Joe Tate, who we just learned passed away. Good? Okay, great.
Yeah, Al, how's his microphone? Okay, it makes me nervous. I don't have an Adam Kenyon, right? Okay.
Well, it was another picture-perfect day across the land. Our 3 News drone got this footage across downtown Cleveland, of course, over on the Guardian Bridge. Look at that, isn't that so beautiful? That is one of my favorite places to drive visitors from out of town. We do the loop, right, through downtown Cleveland. You got to go over the Detroit Superior Bridge, the Lorraine Carnegie Bridge, which of course is the Guardians Bridge, and kind of let them see all around downtown our beautiful architecture. One of my favorite things, those Guardians. All right, speaking of Guardians, the Guardians of the Weather Information. On point today for that team is, of course, Matt Wentz. Matt, you're the Guardian, my friend.
I don't like that responsibility at all, Betsy. You know, you were talking about doing the loop. My wife and I did the loop down our driveway and back today. It was great. We got out and, you know, packed the bags. It was, yeah, we really got out about it. Hold on one second. Size large. Yeah, sorry, we're getting some bleach pants online. So yeah, get me a large. That'd be great. Thank you. I can't wait.
It's a new fashion trend.
Yeah, it will be. I'm telling you, Big Sue sets the fashion trend. Europe, you know, takes it about a month afterwards. That's kind of where it goes. Hey, high pressure, or not high pressure, high temperatures officially in the book today. I threw Erie on there. I know Erie's outside our viewing area, but they broke a record set way back in the 1800s. They hit 72 in Erie today. 70s, Cleveland, Mansfield, New Philadelphia. I think Cleveland went to 70 probably for 3 minutes today. We were tracking that temperature by the hour today, but either way, it was warm. 119 days since we've been this warm, or about 1/3 of a year. How about that? It has been that long. Early November's last time we hit 70 degrees. So look at temperatures right now, still mild. We're going to remain mild this evening. We've got that strong southerly wind that's going to help to keep this air mass in place. We've had gusty winds at times. Look at the latest gusts coming out of Akron in the last 15 minutes, 35-mile-per-hour gusts. Meanwhile, we've got ditto that over towards Mansfield. Winds will be gusty tonight. If you do keep your windows open, we should stay dry tonight. That's the good news, but keep in mind things will be rattling a little bit. So especially if you have that south-facing window or you leave, the vents open in the house from the north and south to let that air run through. Unseasonably warm tonight. We're only back down into the upper 50s for an overnight low. You saw those clouds increasing. We've had some showers showing up on the radar. A lot of this is virga, so it's actually rain that's falling, but it evaporates in our very dry air we have. You notice it's not humid outside at all. But as we look at the big picture, we've got more activity off towards the west. Doesn't look like much now. The frontal boundary is actually back in Iowa. This will likely kind of blossom on radar in terms of rainfall, even some severe weather out in Iowa as we go throughout the evening hours. We'll watch that with the frontal boundary come off towards the east. We've also got a little cold air that'll be sinking in from the north at the same time. This all happens tomorrow, so we're going to stay on the mild side for about another 24 hours. Your National Design Board hour-by-hour forecast keeping us warm tonight. You can see a scattering of showers tomorrow morning for that morning commute, and then by afternoon we deal with scattered showers, even a couple rumbles of thunder possible. We'll have some instability present, and then eventually that all pushes out with the frontal boundary Thursday night. Look what happens Thursday night. We drop down, 40s and 30s to wake up Friday morning, but we should recover a little bit Friday afternoon. Shouldn't be a bad day on Friday. It's Saturday that cold air really gets here, and it'll feel more like average. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. Here you go, back into the 40s for the weekend. Next week, couple systems to watch, but we stay in the 40s. And Jay, we've got about 24 more hours to get outside and really soak this in. All right. Feels like one step forward, two steps back, but we'll get there. Baby steps. We will. We'll get there. Yep, in our bleach pants. All right. Matt, thank you very much. All right, right now it is time to see what is clicking in Cleveland. And today a bit of a different vibe, obviously. We broke the news at the top of What's New about the passing of legendary play-by-play man Joe Tate. 39 years as the voice of the Cavaliers, also spent some time as the voice of the Cleveland Indians. And Stephanie, I imagine there is a lot of reaction on social about the loss of Joe Tate.
There is, Jay. Northeast Ohioans are sharing memories of the beloved broadcaster Joe Tate, who, as you said, we just learned passed away. Broadcasters like Andre Knott are sharing how they looked up to him as they grew up, that he was like family. And Al Pawlowski shared how he always went out of his way to help the up-and-comers, and what a huge influence he's been across the industry, especially here in Cleveland. Radio host Ken Carman shared how the Cavaliers didn't have the best record when he was young, but Joe Tate calling the game made him love the team and love Tate. And fans feel the same way. CJ called Tate one of the greatest play-by-play guys he's ever heard, and he also felt like family, even though they never met. For Ben, he said even knowing this was coming didn't take the sting out, calling Tate the absolute legend that he was. And so many brought up Tate's signature phrase, that wham with the right hand, the one that all the players wanted to hear him say about them. And Gary on Twitter closing it out, saying this has really been a tough week for Cleveland, that he grew up with Joe's voice in the 80s and 90s, and he will certainly be missed. In other news, there is another company offering a nice little bonus for people who get the COVID-19 vaccine. Bridgestone America will pay all of its 33,000 employees in the U.S. who receive a vaccine $100. That includes over 600 workers in Akron, and that money is to help with transportation, childcare, missing work, or whatever else might be a deterrent to getting vaccinated. So they're starting this in the U.S., and they do hope to add it in Canada and Latin America. Now, the vaccine is not required, but it is encouraged, and this is one way they're helping to encourage that, Jay and Betsy. We've seen this in other companies, mostly in those grocery store environments, those frontline workers, but we are seeing it expand to other industries now.
Well, the more people that get it, the better off we all are. Stephanie Haney, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Up next, everybody, we'll meet one local leader who is using her voice to advocate for those here in our community who may not have had the opportunity to speak up for themselves. It's part of our 21 Strong series.
As we continue our 21 strong profiles, we're turning our attention to an inspiring local leader.
She's dedicated to educating and building bridges to make sure all Ohioans of all races have access to the American dream. Here's Romney Smith.
As president of the Cleveland NAACP, Danielle Sidner often speaks strong words.
If you care about this region as much as you say you do, you have got to care about the conditions of Black people, because the region will not advance if Black folks don't advance.
Her mission, to bridge racial gaps through education and activism.
I really believe that my purpose is to try and be a voice for those that don't often get invited to the table, and to be willing to also shoulder the burden of what that means in terms of being the face of difficult conversations.
Her biggest motivation are her 2 teenage sons.
Them seeing me do this work gives them hope. It also gives them a roadmap of how they can use their voice today in engaging with other young people. Getting people to recognize.
Sidner had been in her role for a little over a year when, in the summer of 2020, after the killing of George Floyd, Cleveland was activated. Cleveland marched peacefully, and Cleveland also rioted. After the flames died down, the city of Cleveland organized with Sidner at the table to influence leaders to declare racism a public health emergency.
To put together legislation that's going to solve the problem. It's not a one and done. We can't have a summer of uprising and think that we've solved the problem. That is just laying the foundation for the greater work that we must do.
To help with that work and meet a need during the pandemic, Sidner was inspired to start a new venture, the We Win Strategies Group.
Take all of these different things that I've had a pleasure of doing in my finance career, plus my work in community and economic development, and really marry them together to be a voice at the table where oftentimes, especially Black folks, are not at the table, helping to create what these next kind of plans and strategies look like for recovery.
She's working hard every day to bring Cleveland together.
Communities, organizations, corporations that have made pledges and commitments to this social justice movement, but that are also really centered around trying to ensure that there's equity in terms of economic conditions.
While it will take years of work, Sidner truly believes that if Cleveland learns from history, we can come together to set up systems of success for people who have been historically and systematically discriminated against and disenfranchised.
So if we have more people in all these different systems who learn how to be advocates, who learn how to pay attention to microaggressions and small things that compound over time, I believe that we can make more progress.
Romney Smith, 3 News.
Thank you, Romney. Well, coming up for us, we have an amazing Show Us Something Good story that is coming your way that is full of love and reunion. Stick around for this one.
Yeah. Yes, I do. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3.
Check 1, 2, 3. Hey, Al, how you doing today, buddy? Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brandon's microphone. We're still talking about taxes today. We're talking.
Second, give me a second. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check, mic check.
I do. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, this is definitely something good. Judy Waxman from Shaker Heights reunites with her 4-year-old granddaughter Sienna for the first time in 7 months. They've been separated because of the pandemic, of course, and to top things off, Sienna lives in Florida. So this has been a long time coming. There are so many people who are getting hugs like these, and they are just energizing.
Well, obviously, we've been away from many of our loved ones for the past year, and we realize that a lot of reunions, just like this one, are going to be taking place. And here's what we're asking you to do. We want to see more reunions like that because it makes our heart smile. So, pull out your phone before those reunions, take pictures or videos, even better. And we want to be your go-to station for all reunions just like that one following the quarantine. So keep them coming. Use the hashtag #ReunionsOn3. You can upload pictures and video to our WKYC app. And on that note, we say goodbye for another edition of What's New. Back tomorrow at 5, and we hope to see you then.
What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts right now.
Now at 6, breaking news. Legendary Cleveland broadcaster Joe Tate has died. We'll have words of reaction and reflection from Jim Donovan. Also, relief is coming. The $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill has passed the House, now headed to the President.